Welcome to Unstoppable Real Estate Investing Wealth. My name is Billy Alvaro, aka the Unstoppable VA, former billion-dollar mortgage banker, gone bankrupt, turned professional real estate investor. Where each week you'll learn the tools, strategies, systems, and secrets myself and other highly successful real estate investing entrepreneurs use to start, grow, and scale their businesses, creating massive profits, and how you can too. And we'll teach you how to put those profits to work so you no longer have to. Get ready to finally experience financial freedom and generational wealth. Now let's get started.
Boom! What's going on? I don't think the video camera can handle this much handsome, bro.
Dude, that was the best. That was the best intro I think I've ever seen, dude. That was phenomenal.
What's up, my man? How you doing, big guy? So listen, let me just make a quick intro. So it is Billy Alvaro, the Unstoppable VA. This is Unstoppable REI Wealth. Here today with a friend of mine, known him for about 10 years now. Met him back, I think, in California at one of the first events I went to for Fortune Builders back in the day. And bro, you're a solid guy, good friend, killer individual. You have two businesses that I want to talk about. Mr. Bob Lachance.
What's up? 10 years ago, a lot of white on both our beards, a little white in the hair. Hey,
dude,
at least we hair though. That's a positive, right? That's a positive.
We still have our hair for sure. So listen, Bob, I want to get into the business that I'm leveraging that you have. But first, I want to talk about you as an investor, right? You've been doing this for a shit ton of years. You started off in the short sale business. Like I bought your course back in the day. You and
short sale flagship system, dude.
Bro. No doubt, man. I actually made a shit ton of money from that system. So I want to thank you for that. You and Pat crushed it. So just give us like a background on the business side with real estate investing. And then I want to flip it over to what the other business that you have, how it's helping us and other investors.
For sure. So I started in 2004, like you knew way back when. I retired. I played professional hockey for 8 years. So going from the hockey rink to the business world obviously wasn't the easiest thing. But, hey, we're Connecticut. You're in New York, Jersey. We figured this out pretty quick. So we had to jump in pretty quick and just go like 100 miles an hour. My first deal was actually a flip. Drove around neighborhoods, farmed areas, and ended up making an offer. Properties list for like, I think 185. I put an offer for 135. They accepted it. And I'm thinking, oh shit, what do I do now? I had no rehabbers. I didn't have money lined up, nothing, but I figured it out. I ended up making 32 grand on that flip, but decided, and realized I had no systems process. Dude, I didn't even know what marketing was. Let's call it what it is. I knew nothing about business. Dude, I got lucky. I worked hard.
But you know what it is, bro? You had elephantitis in the testicles. You went out there and made shit happen.
That's right. It is funny. You and I talk about this stuff off camera, and it's those people that actually go and actually do it and just keep taking steps forward that end up being successful. So that's a great takeaway on that side of it. So that's when I met our buddy Pat Precourt. So right after that, I joined local real estate association. I saw a pre-foreclosure speaker speak, and I'm like, dude, I would have bought anything. So I bought that course, and all of a sudden now I'm a short sale investor, but I didn't know anything about short sales. So I looked around the REIA group, and then the next REIA came out, Real Estate Investment Association. I asked who the best guy in Connecticut was, and everyone turned to Pat. Like they all pointed to Pat, and I said, I got to meet this dude. So I walked up to him. I said, listen, I'm not looking for a job. I'm looking to join a team. No salary, nothing, but what can I do to join the team? And he goes, you know what? I'm actually looking for an acquisition guy to knock on doors. And I'm like, all right. So I'm an idiot this time. I knew nothing, right? So he literally gives me a list of pre-foreclosures with a script, and I door knock from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. every Friday, every single day for like literally a year. So I cut my teeth there.
Killer training doing that, dude. Knocking on doors, you really get some thick skin quick.
Oh, yeah, you see people looking through the blinds, shutting their blinds, just basically running away. People go to our house now are like, oh, shit, I got to deal with this person. So that was me. Anyway, but I had some very good success. And then I literally just replaced myself, got another door knocker, went into negotiation seats. So I'd sit there and negotiate. I think we probably negotiated over, 1,000 short sale transactions over the years, maybe even more. I don't even know. This is going back to 2004. So at the height, we're just cranking. That's when we created a course back then, started selling a course on stage, helped start a couple of coaching programs throughout the years. And then, this was 2005, first coaching program, 2007. Another one, I think this is where we met at Fortune Builders with Pat. him and I we were tasked with helping start that coaching program from ground up and creating the training and creating, the whole idea was building from within. I know there's a lot of different models of coaching programs, et cetera, but we were fortunate enough to, work with those guys for a long time, well over 10 plus years. 2014, I started my first virtual assistant company. This is out of the Philippines. Fast forward today, I think we're probably, one of the, and I like saying this because I'm pretty humble, but I think we're one of the better ones out there, one of the best in the country right now. I know you use our virtual assistants.
I could definitely attest. I mean, I've been using you guys for, 4+ years, and we have just a gamut of different individuals that are doing different tasks between cold calling and transaction assistance and bookkeeping assistance. I mean, there's been so many different pieces that we've leveraged, and it's been a blessing, man. Like they're like part of the family, except they're in another fucking country. And the best thing, I said this, I had one of your people on that was from Reba. I did an interview with what's her name?
Is that with Amy?
With Amy, yeah. And I was telling her, dude, it's like, you guys train the shit out of your VAs. I don't have to go out and train them. I just have to have them know exactly how I want my business to get done, but cream of the crop. And I want to get into that whole Reba thing. But I want people to know that you're not just delivering like outsourced transaction services for VAs. You do this business. Like you did well over 150 deals last year?
So last year we did 166 transactions. So literally I'm in this room. My real estate team's in that room. Also we're on pace to do, I think, over 200. I'm not that good at math, but we've done 57 already this year.
Yeah.
So whenever this is released, I don't know, but we're probably on track to do, even if you take a step back, we're going to do over 166 like we did this year, which is obviously a very good number. So for two different businesses to run them, it's we have a great team though, but you're only as good as your team. We use our virtual assistants too in our business to drive all of our leads to do exactly what you just said.
And that's the point. So your success in your real estate investing company really is tied to the success that your VA company is supporting.
Correct.
Your investing company. So let's get into now, because we can talk about flipping and wholesaling. I really want this to be about your services, the added value, because I'm using them. I'm a client. You guys rock. Like I can't give you enough kudos. Love your business. I'm a diehard fan. What is Riva Global, and how can it help guys like us in the business?
Yep. Yeah. So very simply, Riva Global is a virtual assistant service company. It's a staffing company, right? Because think about how expensive it is. We know in our area to hire somebody. Either part-time or full-time, you're paying an arm and a leg. Not only that, you're paying taxes and insurance, all that other crap. There, it's very, very simple. It's a very inexpensive way to hire individuals that have a 4-year graduate degree, right? I mean, to have that here, I don't know what it is in your area. What would you have to hire someone? 60, 70, 80 grand in your area?
Easy.
Right?
Minimum.
Right? So just a little bit of our pricing, it's just the standard $10.60 an hour. That's it, right across the board. So it's very, very simple. And we offer, what we do is we find them. We call it sourcing recruiting. Then we train them and then we place them. It's almost on the placements department side of it. It's very easy because let me take a step back actually, because when I first started this and I first started using my own virtual assistants, I defined them myself. Literally, I am going to all those free sites. Yep. And then I'm doing a little paid sites, and I got to sift through hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of applications. We handle all that stuff for you because that's a huge pain point in finding the perfect match for you.
No doubt.
So that's exactly what we do. So we source, and then it goes to our training team, and we have a pretty sizable training team that does 3 to 4 weeks of training. Whether it's building buyers list, cold calling, learning how to text messages, learning how to do transaction recording, a lot of stuff that we talked about a little bit before. And then it goes to our placements team. Placements team is the best thing I could explain. It's kind of like match.com, where you match the perfect person for you. We do predictive indexing. So, predictive index is a very good way to assess who the type of person that you're hiring. I know a lot of us do this in the US. We do it when we hire here in our office. I don't know if you do it, Billy, to hire your onshore people. But we do the same thing with our virtual assistants, which makes it, in my opinion, just a very, very good way to, again, weed down on the individuals that will not be a good fit for you. So we have our placement team that matches up with your tasks, because certain tasks are different, right? If you have a bookkeeper, you don't need someone who is great on the phones, right? Because someone who's great on the phone, they'll be more like your ISAs, your salespeople, the ones that are setting appointments for you, etc. So there's a lot, without going real deep into it, there's a lot of different mixes and matches that you could do. But the best of the best is being able to save your time, right? So if we could save your time and cut through the process, then once you pick the perfect VA, then you're put with what we call a client service manager and your virtual assistant. So you get an extra layer of management on top of that. So that's a long and short of how that process goes.
So there's a couple of takeaways and a couple of things I want to address, because I've had conversations with people in the past and they're like, dude, why would you pay $10 for a virtual assistant? And I'm like, are you out of your mind? I've been down the road before I got with your company. I had to go out and do exactly what you said. I had to put out ads. I had to sift through hundreds of resumes that were garbage. I had to interview people that didn't speak English. Then they said they were trained up. I had to put them through the training. They would last 2 weeks, flake out, and leave. So like with your business, are we paying a little bit more for the VA? Abso-fucking-lutely. Yep. Is the value there? Abso-fucking-lutely. You guys are headhunting in essence. You're putting out ads and attracting the right people, headhunting, weeding out the crap, putting them through a training process. The key thing I love not only about that is that after they're in, you have like a department that's on top of them that continues. As we're training them, you're training them. You're making sure they're staffed and doing the right thing. You're having interaction, your managers with our managers, saying, hey, how's the person doing? Are they living up to their stats? You give us weekly KPIs or daily KPIs. Yep. I mean, it's a completely different animal. So to those people that are saying, and this isn't a sales pitch for you, bro, like I'm getting nothing out of this. It's worth its fucking weight in gold. Why would I pay $20 to $25 an hour in the States with W-2, have them in here, health insurance, all the bullshit, where I could just outsource it? You guys train them, they come in, and if I have to just take them for 10 hours a week for a certain task, it's 10 hours a week. It's not full time. It's like minimum money. Certain people 40 hours, certain people are 50 hours, certain people are 10 hours.
Yep. Yeah. So what we offer on that side of it, so the cold calling packages, like you talked about, we do 10, 20-hour packages, and we have some other packages, so you could ask us. But on the one-on-one side, we have part-time, which is 20 hours, and full-time, 40 hours. And you touched upon, I mean, that was one of the big pain points when I started in this business, right? When I started using virtual assistants myself, it's just all that bullshit pain, trying to find someone, trying to train them, trying to keep them, trying to, manage them, et cetera. So on the management side, we do take care of as well, all the HR stuff. So we take care of paying them, we take care of their insurance as well, which is another value add, and why we have one of the highest rates of our, retention rates. So
yeah,
a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's killer, brother. So one of the things that, like, let's go into, because people like virtual assistant, what am I going to have them do? Let's really break down. I want people to get an understanding of the various tasks so they can be like, holy shit, I didn't know they can do that. Like the obvious, right? The obvious is lead generation. Talk about the lead generation side. What do they do on the lead gen side to drive in business? Because we all need more leads to get in contact with to close. What could they do for us there?
So one of the things that I did when I first started, I door knock, but I would actually go home, and that list I would have to skip trace to get the best phone number for each one of those people or individuals. Then I would cold call, right? So the process now is a lot easier. What we could do is we could pull down, what list provider you use, right? You got PropStream, you get RealFlow, you got other different list providers. What you do is you pull down a list, and then you get a skip trace service. So you don't have to do this manually, but our VAs do manual stuff, but I'll tell you that in a minute. So basically, they'll do all this. They'll pull down the list from PropStream, then they'll skip trace it through whatever, if you're using RealFlow or PropStream, whatever you're going to use. There's a lot of skip tracing services out there. Once all those numbers come up, they'll upload it into a dialer. So the dialer that they're using is, we use, with our cold calling team, we use Five9, but we also use Ready Mode as well. So what happens, they upload it into Ready Mode, and they just hammer the phones. So now they're hammering the phones every single day. For those of you who actually, think about this, if you're an agent or an investor, cold calling is tiring. It is very, very tiring. It beats you up.
Cold calling sucks.
It absolutely sucks, right?
But it's a lead generator.
Bingo, lead generator. And it is necessary today, in my opinion, again, I know everyone's got an opinion, to have some sort of cold calling inside what you do on a daily basis. You do a lot of cold calling, I know that. I do a lot of cold calling. And it's a necessary evil to be able to drive those leads to your sales force, or your sales floor, I should say. Or if you're if you're a solopreneur, to you, because you need leads. If you don't have leads, you have no business. So that's what they do. And as soon as and this is one thing I want to highlight because a lot of people get this mixed up because they hear different information. What you want your virtual assistant to do is either set an appointment or just gauge seller motivation, right? Like when I first started, I door knocked. I was gauging seller motivation. That's not the best use of our time. Best use of our time is to get that lead on your plate because, for you, think about this, Billy. There's a lot of different ways that you make money, whether it's a wholesale, whether it's a wholesale, whether it's a rehab, whether it's a novation, whatever it is, you have a list and it's your job or your team's job once they get that lead to know how to turn that into money. If you're an agent, guess what? Your last resort is to list the thing. So that's just a long and short about lead generation on that side of it.
So they do the telemarketing. Do they also do texting?
They also do texting. Yep. We have a lot of VAs that text message. So yeah, the same process, right? You get the list, you download the list, you skip trade the list, you upload it into a text message platform, and then the VAs do two things. They text message, and also they pick up the phone and call. So there's a process. Of course, we have templates built out, et cetera, for them to text message and then call after to gauge seller motivation to then send you that warm lead.
Could they also, and because I know the answers, I'm just so people get some ideas. Could they also build your buyers list?
100%. We have VAs that build their buyers list all day long. Think about this. You could go to Google. You could go to Craigslist. Even Craigslist right now, people are posting up there. You could go to Facebook. You go anywhere right now. LinkedIn. Pull down. You can put some search terms in there, and then the VA calls them and says, "Hey, listen, where are you looking to buy? Are you an active buyer? What price range are you looking at? How many beds? How many baths? What area, etc." So that's a phenomenal way. Same thing you could do. You can do the same thing with contractors. I know contractors are very difficult for a lot of us rehabbers out there to find, vet, and really know if they're any worth their gold, weight in gold or not. So a couple ideas.
That's a nugget right there, bro. The whole contractor piece is a nugget. The buyers list is a nugget. Lead gen is a nugget. All right, so let's get over to on accounting side. Could they help out with accounting and bookkeeping and shit like that? Like what? I'm telling you, a lot of people don't realize how much they can take off their friggin' plates and outsource without hiring full-time people.
Yeah, we have a bunch of clients that use bookkeepers or use our VAs as bookkeepers, right? They just send them the raw files and then they tag them and they put them up into QuickBooks. So it's very easy. I know a lot of rehabbers need this because there's a lot of stuff coming and going, right? When you have change orders, you have all this kind of, nonsense going on. Also, one of the other things on the bookkeeping side, we have a lot of property managers that use our service on the bookkeeping side because there's a lot of stuff that's moving over to paying contractors because a lot of individuals keep this in-house, right? So they pay contractors, they do, and I know I'm getting off topic, but they'll do tenant screening, they'll do lease renewals, they'll do mainline because I know for sure for anybody who's got a rental, it's absolutely sucks when your phone rings and you have a tenant saying, "Hey, my water doesn't work," or "Hey, I got a drip over here." Or, "Hey," you don't want to take those calls because after a while, man, that's just a weight right on your shoulders and it beats the crap out of you over time. So anything like that to outsource, right? It's really important. Lease renewals, you can give bonuses and things like that.
It really comes down to any single thing that you want to outsource. You have the ability to do so. You just have to make sure as the person who's going to hand it out to the outsource company, whether it's yours or somebody else's or whatever, the key thing that you need to do is you need to be extremely articulate with what you want. I recommend videotaping yourself on how to do it if it's a computer job or writing out the procedures, because the more detailed you are in your scope of work that you're handing over to your VAs, the better of a job they're going to do. Then you just have an accountability meeting, whether it's a check-in once a day or twice a week or once a week just to go through the KPIs and understand and make sure that they're doing exactly what you want them to do. The one thing I learned with the Filipino VAs, a lot of them, I think most are Filipino on your end, is that you just need to speak to them in a certain manner. They don't like confrontation, right? Correct. So if you have an aggressive personality like mine and I come across aggressive, I might not be angry, but they take it as, "Oh my God, this guy's mad." And I'm not, I get excited when I speak. So you have to make sure you interact with them the way they want to be spoken to, because we're all different with completely different culture. So you need to understand what culture you're dealing with. We have Indians that do certain things for us. We have people in the Philippines that do certain things for us. Pakistan, we're outsourced all over the freaking place right now. And I got to tell you, it's exploding our business by what we're doing.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. It's kind of mirroring exactly who you're talking to. Same thing we're sitting with a seller, right? If you're sitting with a female, a male, different age groups, guess what? You're going to be mirroring them a little different, right? So you got to know and got to be able to mirror anybody you're working with. So that's actually a very good point. on that side of it. So I'll tell you what, using virtual assistants, our business, they do one of the other things, Billy, I just want to make sure I don't miss this one. They call them lead managers. And really what they are is follow-up. I mean, think about this. I don't know how many leads you have in your database, right? I have, 10,000 leads in my database. So you got old ones, and then they pile on top of each other. What happens is our team is not going to get to all of them. They can't physically, because you don't want to hire too many people in-house, sitting in the other room. So we have a virtual assistant going through all of those leads to re-engage them, because we know this. I mean, human nature, we cherry pick all the time. You got a new lead, you send out we do cold calling, we do text message, we do direct mail. Well, guess what? As soon as the direct mail lead comes in, you're taking that call rather than following up on an older lead, because that's hot today. So it's pretty interesting. You'll realize the longer you go and the more you do this, how much you leave behind, because 70+% of all the properties we close have been touched at least 7+ times. And if you don't keep touching them, meaning calling, texting, whatever you're going to be doing, right, then you're going to lose out on 70% of your business. That's just how it goes. I don't know, the national average is probably a little higher than 70%. Would you agree?
100%. We speak about it all the time in the masterminds we're in. The money's in the follow-up. The money's in the follow-up. The money's in the follow-up. And so, we're an advocate of what you're saying. I did a presentation at CG, I think like 2 quarters ago. And because of how we structured our process, leveraging the VAs, no lead left behind, I mean, it was close to like $1 million in monies that we would have lost down the toilet. We got re-engaged and redone simply by having systems and processes. Now, look, I'm not going to say you're going to hire a VA and you're going to make $1 million. If you have your shit dialed in, and we're dialed in, we have our processes dialed in, we have specific systems. We're just leveraging your people and others into our platform, and they're killing it for us. They're just doing deals and making deals happen when my sales team can focus on the new stuff coming in. They're leveraging the VAs as almost like a sales assistant and a lead manager. They're actually calling in behalf of the acquisition managers as their sales assistant. So it's not like another person calling. It's working like a charm, bro.
Yeah, it's funny what you said. Just it could overwhelm some people, right? Exactly what you just said, because you and I talk very fast. So what you just said was actually really important, because you have to look at each part of your business as a different department, right? It's kind of like our short sale flagship system back in the day. You have your marketing department, right? And that has to do with cold calling, text messaging, direct mail, PPC, TV, whatever you're going to, radio, right? That's your marketing. Now those leads, which you have VAs and those leads, go into your acquisition team. But you need somebody to, take calls even in the marketing, because if you're sending out direct mail, you need someone to take those calls as well, or to call them back, to vet them. So those are great for virtual assistants. Cold calling, we should not be doing that. I'm not going to be cold calling a very cold list. That's not the best use of our time. Text messaging, same thing. You got to, because there's a lot of interaction back and forth before they turn into what you want your team touching, right? And then you got your acquisition team. You put a VA in your acquisition team as a lead manager that follows up with all these leads. So now as a solopreneur, you can start looking at, all right, now I could visually see it. You got my marketing department, even if we're working by ourselves, right? And this is what we did when we created our short sale flagship system and the coaching programs that we created. You got to create departments for what we do, right? And then as soon as they're under contract, a different department, right? And as soon as they're closed, a different department. So virtual assistants and that side of it would be, like you said, your bookkeeper VAs, right? Transaction coordinator VAs.
Right.
Yep.
Closing coordinator. And that's the key thing. You could be a solopreneur. And a lot of guys, I even the back of my shirt said start, grow, and scale with the Unstoppable REI podcast. And a lot of guys in the start phase, they just don't get it, Bobby. They think that they have to do it all themselves. And even worse, when they start to grow, they're growing, but they're still taking everything on themselves. They're managing everything. They're doing everything. You could be a solopreneur, and you could have 6 different people that are VAs not working in your office, outside the office, and they're doing all the heavy lifting and sifting and sorting for you, to where you're just doing what you're good at, which is fucking getting on the call and closing, if that's your thing. If you're not a closer, then maybe you're an operator, but you have somebody else closing for you. You just need to leverage.
Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
No, you just need to leverage other people's time and experience and not take it all on your shoulders yourself.
So, you and I talked a lot about this at masterminds and having a cigar. And The interesting part is a lot of people think that, doing it themselves is like a rite of passage, right? Mm-hmm. I'll be honest with you, man. I hate doing anything by myself. I can't freaking stand it. I like working with teams. I like building teams, because you're going to come in the office by yourself. Yeah, you get the check all by yourself, but dude, that sucks. We're social animals as being humans, right? And for me personally, man, I love working with people. Hey, we've all gone through lawsuits, right? Not everybody, but we've all gone through business partner breakups, different lawsuits. Like, guess what? I still have a business partner. That's fine. For me personally, I don't need to be the kingpin or the one that's saying that, hey, I got the full check, or I got this. I'd much rather have, spread the wealth, work with you, Billy, or work with someone. We did a deal with Greg Hellback, right? He's in California. He used to be here. He give us a call just out of the blue. He's like, hey, Bob, we got a deal. He called Adam, my business partner. Hey, we got a deal in Stanford. We ended up making $16,000 each. So $32,000 profit we partner on just out of the blue, just by having a network and being able to work with people, right? I think that's a good point that you said.
I preach it. I preach it all the time, man. Partnerships with other people, doing joint ventures. If you have a deal, you don't know how to get it done, or you have a deal in another state like Greg did with you, call up a person that you're friends with in that area, JV on that deal. Everybody could eat. Everybody makes a piece of the pie. It's like it's a no-brainer.
It's more fun too, right? It's more fun. Like, think about this. Then now we break bread together. Now we're friends forever, right? It's just, I don't know. Exactly. I may look at it different than some other people, but that's just that's the way
that's why I look at it too, man. I'm involved with. I'm doing a deal right now in Pennsylvania. The guy brought it in with JVing on the property. He knew the seller. He knows the tenant. Brought the deal over. I figured out how to get it done. We're whacking it up. I got another one up in Northern Jersey. Guy from upstate New York heard my podcast. Called me up. He's like, I got this deal. What do you want to do? I'm like, well, fucking whack it up. I'll make this deal happen.
I love it.
Carry the back end. It's just, it's fun, man. It's fun. And when you do it and everybody's making money, and then you meet them at these certain events and you go out, I don't know. It's just a lot of fun. It's making money.
Seriously, this is funny on that note, Billy. You'll love this. So we literally had a property wholesaled. The wholesaler is like, oh, well, you're making too much money. So he backs out. We're like, okay, screw you. We're going to buy it. The dude who brought us the deal, we're like, he's like, you know what? Screw this guy. And after we close, we're going to post it on Facebook. I'm not going to post it, but we just closed it. You'll love this, right? So we rehabbed it, put about $20,000 into it. We just split a check for $90,000 for a wholesaler that backed out because they were pissed off that we were making about $30,000. We're like, okay, dude, screw you. We have money to fund it. This is what we're going to do. We're going to fund it. We partner with the guy who actually brought us the deal, right? And he managed the rehab. Boom, done. We made a lot of money. So I'm like, all right, cool.
So like short-sighted, man. I've had guys like that do that in the past. They're like, you're making $40,000 as a wholesaler. What are you doing? I'm not going to pay you that. I go, listen, you ruined the relationship. You're looking at my pot. They all say, Bobby, they don't care until they see it, then they care.
That's exactly right.
Come on.
That's exactly right.
I had this one builder, one of my first deals back in the day. He said the same thing. It was a small house, and he saw I was making like a $70,000 rip. And at first, I had no idea it was going to double close. He's like, "No, just assign it to me." I'm like, I'm doing good in this deal. I was like, I don't care. I don't look at your pocket. I'm happy with the number I got. So dumb. I was young. I sent it over to him as an assignment. He's like, "You're out of your mind. You're not getting 70. I'll pay you 20 grand on this one." I said, "Bro, you lost the fucking deal. Like, you're done, not me."
Dude, you know who's doing that now? Because we're just pulling out of some of these states because we're doing more of this stuff nationally. Now we're really going deep in our own area. But a lot of these hedge funds are doing that. They keep moving the goalpost. Right? It's like, all right, you want to keep moving they're moving the goalposts. So we're in Arkansas, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, a couple other states, and then now they started moving the goalposts. We're like, you know what the hell are we doing? We're banging our heads dealing with these guys when they promise one thing. Now they're changing their number. Like, you know what? Let's go back to our own market. Let's go deep. And now we're at 57 deals already this year. So it's like, the grass is not always greener when you start doing these, start doing these things, because people are like, oh, virtual wholesaling. Oh, it's so great. It is great until
it's not easy though. It's not easy.
Not easy.
No, you go into these other states, you have all these little nuances. You don't know like block by block and who the players are. And we even I'm in New Jersey, and I renovate like 98% of my shit in New Jersey, and I'm wholesaling just a little bit. And even in New Jersey, I'm here. It's a new market for us. And my guy that's doing my wholesaling, Joe, in the back end, he's like, bro, all these buyers fucking flake out. Like, they say yes, they try to jerk you around, and then they cut you at the last minute. I'm like, Joe, we'll just take it down and renovate it. Like, I'm not dealing with
this. That's it. That's right. And that's part of the business, right? You gotta really weed them out, and sometimes you don't know, right? You don't know until you do know, and then you're like, oh, screw this guy, I'm never gonna give him a deal again. We're going through that in Massachusetts with a little group of buyers. It's just part of the game. It is what it is.
It is. Bobby, tell us on Riva Global, how do people get in touch with that part of the business? Because I don't want to end this until you give a plug for that.
Yeah, check out, go to revaglobal.com, www.revaglobal.com. You can also check us out on Facebook. My email is bob@revaglobal.com as well. I'll put you in touch with our admissions specialist, and we'll get you on a strategy call if that's what you're looking to do.
Good. And I want to now circle back real quick because I'm anxious to hear. So last time we spoke, you were doing all these other states virtually, and you guys were having a good run with it. So now you're back in Connecticut, 57 deals. I got to pick your brain. What are you doing? And I know it's going to be a whole gamut of shit because that's what we all do. Yeah. What are you doing that's working in Connecticut right now?
So like I said, the three things that we are doing, we're doing cold calling, we're doing text messaging, we're doing direct mail. Those are the main three things. And every time I get on a podcast, it's kind of funny. And every time you and I talk, I'm like, I think we're going to add in PPC. I think we're going to start doing TV. I think we're going to start doing radio. But our return on investment has been so good. Yeah, it's been very, very good. The one thing we are doing, we are changing our CRM platform to give us more data. That's what we're literally, I think this week we're getting trained on. We are going to Salesforce-based product called Left Man.
I'm having everybody else do it first, and then I'm going to be behind you guys because it's painful doing the switch. Bro. It's a lot of 100%.
Pain. Dude, no joke. It is freaking pain. And I just talked to my buddy Joe out of New Hampshire, and he's like, listen, man, he goes, it is pure pain. However, it has changed his business. So again, I'm only telling you, I'm at the beginning stages of it, so I really can't talk too much about it. The platform we have right now is Podio-based, which you helped. So I want to thank you for that. It's very good. It's very good. But again, it is limited in what it can and can't do.
Yeah, it's a little clunky. It has its issues, and I want to switch over, dude. But so let me pick your brain on what you're doing with Salesforce. Are you gonna run simultaneously for a little bit, or are you just gonna make the hard cut from Podio and switch over to Salesforce?
So I got to talk to Adam on that one, but I think this week we're gonna do the hard cut because we're transferring everything over. So I mean, I don't know. It might be pain, but actually, as we talk about it, I think we're probably gonna be doing both simultaneously because the older leads in there, the way it's set up in Podio, we have it pretty dialed in. So I gotta 100% answer that question once I talk to Adam. So
that's his thing.
Yep.
And another question about Salesforce: how long has it been in the planning stages to get to this point where you're implementing like this week or next week?
Over 6 months.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
but to everyone's defense, I mean, a lot of times we change stuff, right? So that's what we do. Yeah, in every single second. It's not like, because we're just like with you, we worked a lot with you on customizing our Podio, and when you have a product in Salesforce, there's a lot of changes that you need in any CRM and software. There's a lot of tweaks that you make, but we want to customize it to exactly what we want. So we have not started because of us. That's the honest truth.
But that's what happens. You want to get it done. I mean, we did the same thing when we went from no platform over to Podio, and it was like, all right, I want to make sure I have my shit dialed in before I start going into it. Do you have somebody on staff that's helping you like integrate, or is this solely a third party outsource that's doing it?
We are working with Stephanie Bettis, who's the owner of Left Man. We're working with her and her team. Darren Dame is helping us as well within our. So she did set up a whole dedicated staff to help with the customization of whatever you want, right? So we are working with their team right now, and it's been very good. It's been a very good experience since they actually started that group. So it's been a very positive thing. The one thing I can't wait though is to get everything into Salesforce, because we already have a virtual assistant training on the lead manager side and how to actually use and follow up with all those old leads, because that is your freaking gold. So I can't wait to get in there.
That's where the money's at. Yeah. Bro, this has been great. You're always a pleasure to hang out with, talk to. I got to come out to Connecticut and hang out. We have a cigar, have some meals.
Absolutely.
Bring my girl. We'll get something to eat with the wives and chill out and shit.
Sounds good, my man. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on, Bobby. Good seeing you.